everyone, this is Chantal from Gardening with Peaceful Living NH. It's a blustery day today. It's super cold. We got spoiled with the warm up that we had last week and now we are having a cool down. But anyways, we are going to be planting some trees today. I got some fruit trees right here with me and if we can get to it today. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to do with all this wind. And we're also going to be doing some flower bed cleanup. Let's start off with these trees. So I have here an apricot tree. I forgot the name of the variety, but I will get to it once we take this stake off because it's kind of stuck right there and I'm having a hard time reading it. And I also got 2 cherry trees, and these are dwarf cherry trees. This is the North Star cherry. These 2 cherry trees right here are the same variety, and the reason why I got the same variety is because they are a good pollinator for each other. They grow about 6 to 8 feet wide and 8 to 10 feet tall. So they're really a good compact shrub if you want to tuck into a flower bed, or if you don't have a lot of space and you want to plant fruit trees in your garden. If you live in a suburban area maybe and you want to save on some space, these are perfect for that. They do need trimming, of course, to keep their size in check because sometimes they can grow beyond this label that they put on them. But this is just a general size of what they could be at in maturity. And it's always important to prune fruit trees, as it is every season, to keep them healthy. The Gold Star cherry variety can fruit without a pollinator, but if you have a pollinator, it will produce better for you. So this is why I got 2 cherry trees, so that we can have a better cherry production. And this variety over here of the apricot, I will let you know what it is once we get to planting it, because the tag is kind of stuck and I'm not able to get to it to be able to read it. I got this variety because I have another apricot around here. It's, I think, the Moore Park or something like that, and it's a pollinator for that variety. So they both will bloom around the same time, and this is why they're able to pollinate each other. And you can see right here, this one is loaded with fruit. And hopefully we're going to get some apricots, because apricots are one of my favorite fruits. So today we are going to attempt to plant these trees over here, and I'll take you to where we're going to be planting them in just a second. But if we can't, that's okay. We have tomorrow. It's going to be a better weather tomorrow. It's going to be warmer. It's going to be 56. Today is 37. It's going down in temperature as well as the day goes on, and it's very blustery, as you can tell. So let me take you to where these are going to be planted and show you the plan and what we're going to do, and then we'll talk a little more about how to plant your trees. Several years ago I planted 3 cherry trees in here, and you can see them right there, and 2 of them are either the Romeo or the Juliet variety. I'm not exactly sure. Let me see. I see. Good job. You got it. Thank you. They're either the Romeo variety or the Juliet. I can't tell, but they have been here for several years and they haven't produced anything. And when I first got them, the research that I did on them said that they should be self-pollinators, which means that they don't need another variety to pollinate them. But this was not the case. They haven't produced any fruit so far. So because of that, we are going to replace them with the new cherry trees that I have got. And this one right here is a different variety. I'm not exactly sure what its variety name. I probably still have the tag, but I totally forgot what it was. And it's supposed to be a sour variety of cherries, but it only produced 1 fruit last season and it wasn't that great. So I'm not sure if I want to keep it. I think for now I'm going to keep it just in case if it does fruit this year, which there are some buds on it. I don't see that many buds that will turn into flowers. Just a tiny bit, but maybe eventually it will fruit. So anyways, we're going to keep this one, and we are going to be replacing that one and that one over there. You can see they're so tiny. They're supposed to grow as big as these cherry trees grow, but they haven't done anything. And they were attacked by deer for the first couple seasons, so they were stunted. But again, I don't think they should be this stunted to the point where they're like complete dwarves and not doing well at all. I mean, look at it. It's very disappointing. So this is why we're going to be replacing them with these trees. Let me see. Wow, that's a big weed. Good job. You're a good helper. When you are planting a tree or a shrub, you want to make the hole about 2 to 3 times wider than the root ball of the tree or the shrub. You also want to make sure that the top of the root ball is either flush with the soil level or about 1 inch or 2 above soil ground. I like to plant it a little bit above ground because settling happens and the root ball will eventually sink, and also because I'm going to be topping it with some compost and chicken manure. I want to make sure it's lined up with the rest of the trees over here. So I need to carve this a little bit. I'm using Hollytone to fertilize the hole because the cherry trees like an acidic soil of 6 to 7 pH. 7 is neutral, 6 is acidic, and Hollytone has a little bit of soil acidifier in it, so that's going to help balance the soil. And we also have a neutral soil in here, and our soils sometimes tend to be a little bit above neutral in some areas. So just in case if this area over here is a little bit more on the higher pH than neutral, then it's going to make this cherry tree happy. If I look at it from this angle over here, it looks pretty centered with the rest of the trees. We'll take a look right here as I go farther this way. I think it looks pretty good. And right here, the trunk is leaning a little bit that way though, so let's fix it. Looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. All right, let's move on to the next one. So I'm faced with a dilemma. I was digging over here and I found out that this soil over here is super wet, super soggy. It's like a mud soup in here. It's like a stew. So soggy, because what happens is the water from our neighbor's house over there drains this way all the way into the French drain right here. So this area gets super wet in the spring and in the fall if we have a wet season. I think that I should not plant the cherry tree over here, and I was contemplating the idea of planting it on that side over there next to that flower bed. Now the idea was to leave that side open so that in case if we need a fire truck or a truck that's gonna cut down some trees for us, or anything that we might need in the form of a truck to pass by here, that they would be able to. But this area right here is so much drier than that area right there, and I feel like it might be a better choice to just plant the cherry tree on that side. So it's probably going to be like right there close to the flower bed. And I really like the opening here though, because it just seems more natural, and also this makes this hedge over here of trees continuous and not kind of choppy. But also, if I take this tree out of here and leave this opening, then this opening is a lot wider and easier for trucks to come over that way, because it's less sloped also than that side over here. So this is a much steeper slope, and it's, I think, more difficult for trucks to climb up on grass like that. So I don't know. But another consideration I'm thinking about right now is that if this area is wet, then maybe trucks might get stuck over here. So I'm not sure. I need to kind of put the tree over there and think about it for the night and see what I will decide for tomorrow. Another choice that I can have is to just take this tree out. This is the old cherry tree, one of the old cherry trees, and plant the new cherry tree in its place, and then find something that likes wet soil to plant over here. Now, not a lot of fruit trees like wet soil, and a lot of them that do tend to grow really large. And I don't want something that grows really large because this is right next to our driveway and we don't want it to brush up against the cars or trucks that are passing by here. So I'm not sure. Weigh in the comments below. Please let me know what you guys think. What should we do? I'm not sure. I need to think about it. And if we do decide to plant this tree, whichever place, I can always move it if I find a better solution. If you guys will convince me with a better solution. I just need some help over here on this decision. I'm going to go inside right now. I will come back tomorrow and plant the rest of the trees and clean up the flower bed. It's going to be a lot warmer tomorrow, a lot nicer weather. My hair is all crazy right now. So it will be for you about a few seconds. I'll see you tomorrow, and that will give me some time to think about what to do with this cherry tree. See you again in a few seconds. The second cherry tree is planted, and I think it looks really nice over there. You can see they're pretty lined up. But when it comes to this tree right here, we decided that we are going to take it out and leave this opening right here between the plum tree right there and that cherry tree. So we're going to have a wide opening right here, because even if I plant a tree that likes the water, the soil is kind of, if you think of cake batter, this is the consistency of the soil right now. So that is not okay to plant any tree in here, because even if the tree likes the water, it's going to tip over in a strong windstorm, which we always have those storms. For that reason, we're going to take this out, not plant anything in here. We will be putting a French drain eventually in here to direct the water into this French drain right here. This way, if we need any truck to go over this area to get to the house or to get to cut down trees or whatever it is, we have this wide open space and they're not going to sink because the French drain will be here. And here's another look at those 3 cherry trees. Remember, this is going to be taken out, so we're going to have these 3 cherry trees right there and this row of trees over here that kind of continues up that way. So in the spring, this is going to be glorious, as once these put on more growth and they'll be full of blooms. And now let me take you over to where we are going to be planting the apricot tree. Right over there, I transplanted a pear tree from our back orchard into here. It was in a well of water. And if you remember from last video, I showed you how that area is full of water where that pear tree was. It's the area where we have our well, where we have the other apple trees and the pear tree. And every season, that area gets full of water. And if you've seen the springs of water sprouting from the ground, then you'll understand. And both pears and apples are susceptible to fire blight. And this tree right here is suffering from fire blight. You can see right here, I think this branch right here might have it. Most of the branches that were on it had fire blight. The only branch that might be okay is this one right here. But I don't want to risk it, because eventually I'm going to be planting pears and apples in that area over there. So we are going to be taking this pear tree out of here because it's not doing okay, and I don't want the fire blight to spread to other pears and apples. And we're going to be replacing it with this apricot tree right here. And I also have another apricot tree in that area right there, probably, where am I pointing? Not that tree, but that tree right there. That's the apricot tree, and I think they're in close enough proximity where they can pollinate each other. and they do bloom around the same time, so these are great pollinators for each other. Wasn't even that rooted in. Look at this, barely any roots on this thing. I feel like they shrunk since I dug it and transplanted it here. This is the gold-rich apricot, and it's hardy down to zone 5. It's all planted and it looks really good in here. I'm really hoping that it's going to put out another branch on that side, hopefully this season. I did give it some hollytone as well, but always make sure to make the planting hole at least 2 to 3 times wider than the diameter of the pot that you are planting. Because those roots need to expand, and by digging the hole this wide you are loosening the soil and allowing for those roots to easily expand into that area, because these roots are very tender and they are going to have a difficult time to go through tough soil and compacted soil. We walk over here all the time. We have our lawnmowers drive over here, so it's really important to loosen up the soil. This is why you want to create a larger hole than the diameter of your pot. So whenever you are planting trees, you need to water them, but I'm not going to water them because it's going to rain on Monday, and it's starting to get cloudy right now, so it might actually rain pretty soon. We need to hurry up and get to the flower bed. Today is Saturday. Yesterday was also my husband's birthday, and we went on a walk today, and we had lunch, we went on a walk. It was really nice, and right now it's around probably 6:30, something like that, so it's going to get dark pretty soon. I'm going to do as much as I can of the flower bed, but I also wanted to do some transplanting, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, so we're just going to clean up whatever we can. I'll take you over there and show you what we're going to do. So this is the flower bed we are going to be working on. I have a few perennials right here that need to be transplanted, but we're not going to be transplanting them today. We will be cutting them back, though. These are evergreens. They are Chabot yellow carnations. I also have some annuals right next to them that I left over here over the winter, so we're going to be pulling these out. We're also going to be cutting back these Veronica over here. It's a pink Veronica that has really beautiful blooms all through the summer long and also through into the fall. It's very nice. I love this one. And we have some Siberian irises over here that also need to be cut back because these are going to be blooming late into the spring. They have beautiful purple blooms, but we are not going to be cutting back the lavender over here. We are going to leave this. If you have watched my previous video, I talk about why you should not cut back your lavender right now if you live in a cold climate, so you should go and watch that video. We also have this Lamium right here that needs to be cut back ASAP because these are going to be blooming pretty soon, and these bearded irises right here. I think I'm also going to clean up this creeping phlox right here because it looks very mangy and I want it to look nice. There's a lot of dead growth at the top, so all that needs to be taken out. And I almost forgot about these plants right here. I have some powwow wildberry echinacea over here that also need to be cut back, and these firecracker sedum. With the sedum, I find it really difficult to cut it back, but if you look at it, you'll notice that a lot of the branches that are touching the ground have these little rosettes on them. So I'm going to be leaving the ones that are touching the ground, and I'm going to cut the ones at the top, or maybe if they look okay, I will leave them, but if they don't look that good, I'm just going to cut them back for the ones at the top, because if I lift this back, you'll see all this new growth right there, and we want to expose this new growth because that's going to be the healthiest and the most beautiful. So let's do it. Doesn't it look so much better? Look at this, it's all clean and ready for spring. I'm so excited. I did not cut back the bearded irises right there, so I will get to those on Monday if it's not raining on me. Hopefully I'll have some time to do that this week, if not Monday. But look at it, it looks so much better. So here's the thing. These Chabot Yellow La France, what do you call them? Carnations. I never really cut them back, but this season they look pretty bad, so I cut them back pretty hard. Hopefully they'll come back well for us and we won't have any issues with them. We'll see. If they don't come back, I'm not that sad about it because I can plant something else that's prettier than them. Honestly, they're not my favorite thing, but they still add some beauty and they do have beautiful blooms in the summer. So if they do last, we'll enjoy them, and if they don't, we'll be okay with it. Also, I accidentally tripped over some tulips over here, but these tulips had tulip fire last season, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do this season. I should have pulled them up last season, but I did not get to it, and I wanted to see what's going to happen this year. Because here's the thing, I'm not growing tulips like a flower farmer to sell to people, and I don't necessarily care if their blooms are that pretty or not, but I still will pull them up this season if I notice that they have tulip fire. But the reason why I kept them is because I wanted to see if they will be able to recover from the tulip fire or not, since I'm not selling them. We'll see. I'll update you guys once they start blooming, and I'll show you what happens if they do well or not. And I also accidentally cut a few of the foliage off of some of the tulips. They're tiny right now, so I wasn't able to see them. They're kind of hiding beneath all that foliage of the other plants. So we'll see what they do this season. And look at the Lamium. Doesn't it look so much better? Everything looks so good right now. I'm very excited about this season. I have a lot of plants that I would love to add into this bed. We'll see what the future holds. So stay tuned and I'll update you guys on how this bed will look like throughout this season. One more word on the phlox over here. Now, I never really cut back the phlox, but I felt like I should because it was starting to mound up really high, and I do like the mounding, don't get me wrong, but it also has a lot of kind of scrubby growth on it, and I wanted to cut some of that growth back. And in the spring, even with all that, it still puts on beautiful growth and it looks really lush and green, and it's full of flowers. But I thought maybe if I clean it up a little bit, its structure might look a little bit better. And in the summer, once it's done blooming, it goes through a lull and it kind of looks a little bit brown. So hopefully that will make it look a lot better by cutting it back. I feel like I can go around and cut a little bit more back. So maybe on another day, I'll come back and just clean it up a little bit over here. I have one section right there that I should also cut. I kind of like it though, going under this piece of wood over here and blooming right there in the spring. It looks gorgeous this way. So I don't want to cut too much back off of here. But I also noticed over here that the echinacea is starting to put on some growth, so hopefully it's not going to be killed by the heavy frost that we will get. We'll see. Maybe I did a mistake over here and maybe I should have waited a little bit on the echinacea. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!